Scugog Uxbridge gives DRPS input for future planning. Dan Kearns, North Durham. Members of the Durham Regional Police recently appeared before 2 North Durham councils, seeking input on what priorities the municipalities would like set for the police's strategic plan. Divisional Inspector Dave Silaba and Acting Manager of Strategic Planning Brad Carter came to Scugog Council on Monday, January 14th. Mayor Bobby Drew told Council the issue of road safety was brought up heavily during the municipal election campaign. "I can assure you that everybody has heard about road safety," she said, asking councillors to think about other aspects of community safety. Ward 5 Councillor Lance Brown asked if members of the DRPS have seen any sort of trend regarding the issues they've heard about thus far. "Roadway safety is by large the number one concern," Mr. Carter said, adding the concerns center around aggressive and distracted driving. He also said police visibility is another concern the force has heard raised before. "I realize that's a challenge in the more rural parts of the region," Mr. Carter said. Regarding visibility, Inspector Silba said, North Division officers have started doing foot patrols in Port Perry. "I've asked my officers to start foot patrols in our downtown to make sure we are engaging with the people that are walking the streets and store owners so they know who the police are and feel comfortable seeing them in the downtown core. If they have any questions, they can approach an officer and have a discussion in a timely fashion," Inspector Silva said. Regional Councillor Wilma Watton later decided to make a motion to have the township give the DRPS written comments following Scugog's strategic plan sessions. A similar presentation was then made to Uxbridge Council on Monday, January 21st. "There are challenges, and we would like your input as elected representatives of the community," Durham Regional Chair John Henry said. With cannabis now legal, Regional Councillor Gord Hyatt questioned what factors exist for impaired driving enforcement. "Right now, we are working on training our officers on the standards of sobriety testing. This is a fairly well-established set of techniques to establish impairment, whether it's by alcohol or drugs, and that's stood the test of time in terms of the courts," Mr. Carter told Council. "In terms of drug-assisted driving, the technology is still not there." Ward 3 Councillor Bruce Garrett said the biggest concern he heard during the municipal election campaign was street safety. "Speeding on side streets, disregarding stop signs, street racing, things like that," he said. "Actions oriented towards street safety before something horrible happens would be where I would like to see additional focus." Echoing what he said at Scugog Council, Mr. Carter said roadway safety is generally the number one concern. Ward 4 Councillor Willie Pop questioned if there's a plan for the DRPS to improve their response times in Uxbridge. "That's always going to be a challenge here. We have different geographies in the south and in the north. Would you ever have enough officers to bring response times down in a large geographic area? It's hard to imagine you could do that in a financially sustainable way," Mr. Carter responded. "We do the best we can with the information we have."
Ontario gets highest grade ever in red tape reduction efforts. Durham. Ontario received the province's highest grade ever in an annual report card that evaluates governments across Canada based on their progress in cutting red tape. The Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses, CFIB, gave Ontario an A- in its 2019 red tape report card. This was a dramatic increase from the C+ that the previous government received in 2018, which was tied for Ontario's lowest grade ever. Reducing red tape is a top priority for our government. "We believe in eliminating unnecessary and burdensome regulations that do nothing but reduce economic growth and activity in Durham and Ontario," said Lindsay Park, Member of Provincial Parliament for Durham. "We continue to support our job creators in Durham and all across Ontario so that we can once again become the economic engine of Canada." The jump from the province's lowest to its highest grade ever is a result of the new government's determination to cut the cost of doing business in Ontario and make companies more competitive. "Our government for the people is focused on cutting red tape, reducing the regulatory burden on job creators, and establishing the right climate for businesses to thrive in Pickering Uxbridge and across the province," said Peter Bethlen Falvey, MPP for Pickering Uxbridge. Because when local businesses in Durham Region thrive, families and individuals will benefit from good jobs in our community. Because when local businesses in Durham Region thrive, families and individuals will benefit from good jobs, and our community will continue to prosper. People across the government are rolling up their sleeves to lighten the regulatory burden on businesses, and Ontario will take this work to the next level this spring. Ministries are already pitching in with ideas for new actions to help meet an aggressive target, reducing regulatory red tape affecting businesses by 25%. From the Premier on down, the government is continuously looking for ways to lower business costs to help create and protect good jobs for the people of Ontario. I am proud that CFIB has recognized we mean business when it comes to cutting red tape, said Todd Smith, Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, who is the lead minister on reducing red tape and regulatory burden. Ontario businesses face the highest cost to comply with regulations in any province, about $33,000 per company. And small businesses are being hit the hardest. Lowering the cost of doing business here will make companies more competitive so they can create and keep good jobs right here in Ontario. And we won't stop until we get the job done.
Midget Wolves welcome German national champs to Scugog. Marlo Stanfield, special to the Standard, Scugog. The Port Perry Mojacs' high-powered offense was on full display at Scugog Arena on Sunday, January 27th, as they skated to a 12-3 victory over the Georgina Ice. After suffering a loss to the Lakefield Chiefs on Tuesday, January 22nd, the Mojacs headed home to face the PJHL or Division's last-place team, the Ice. The game started off well for the Mojacs. Less than 8.5 minutes into the first period, on a Mojac power play, Owen Hurtubise received a perfect pass from Alex Razgulievs and scored, making it 1-0 for the home team. That score remained the same when the buzzer sounded to end the first frame, a period where the Mojacs dominated in the shots on goal department, 19-5. Almost 5.5 minutes into the second period, after a shot from Colby Fralick was stopped by the Georgina goaltender, Alec Van Drunnen found the rebound and put the puck in the net to expand Port Perry's lead to 2-0. Around 3 minutes later, Jordan Baker's shot found the back of the net, and the Mojacs had a 3-0 lead. 49 seconds after that, Carter Thornton scored on a Mojac power play, expanding the lead to 4-0. Over 11.5 minutes into the period, the Ice would strike to pull themselves a little closer, 4-1. But the Mojacs would get their 4-goal lead back when Jeff Gould scored a power play goal almost 13 minutes into the period. Over a minute and a half later, Thornton was sprung on a breakaway and scored his second goal of the game, giving the Mojacs a 6-1 lead. Gould scored his second goal of the game late in the period, and the Mojacs had a 7-1 lead after 40 minutes of play. The Ice scored a power play goal just 28 seconds into the third period, cutting the score to 7-2. However, over 11 minutes in, Thornton scored his hat-trick goal, giving Port Perry back a 6-goal lead. Over 15.5 minutes in, Justin Jacobs scored, making it a 9-2 game. Just 7 minutes later, though, the Ice scored again, and the score was 9-3. But, with less than 4 minutes left on the game clock, Fralick put the puck in the top corner of the Georgina net, and Port Perry had a 10-3 lead. Derek Riseborough later scored, and then Hurtubise got his second goal of the game late in the period, and the Mojacs prevailed by a final score of 12-3. After the game, Mojacs head coach Tom Boyle told the Standard he was happy with the way the team competed. The boys played hard. It was a total team effort. We got production from each line and everyone was going, he said. He also explained the important role Jeff Gould's return has played in the team's recent success. Huge. He's a skilled player and he really helps, both offensively and defensively, and it gives the boys a boost having that skill on the ice, Boyle said. One-timers. The Mojacs have just 4 games remaining on their regular season schedule. They will start a home-and-home with the Uxbridge Bruins this week. Port Perry will travel to neighboring Uxbridge on Friday, February 1st for the first game of that home-and-home. Puck drop is 7:45 p.m. They will then head home to face the same team at Scugog Arena on Sunday, February 3rd at 2:25 p.m. As of press time, the Mojacs remain in 5th place in the Orr Division standings with 33 points. Consistency is the key. Our prices are down at the pumps, it is true. More prosperous trippers, much road rage is through. Tuition is falling for all those in need, so it seems help is happening, 'cause money's been freed. The pumps are supplying some cash for the bus, so transit is growing, and this was a must. A wise use of taxes builds hope in this case. where past jokers just used up what stared in their face. Some values were brought back. They protect our young kin from companions of windfall and where they have been. Yet police are in peril because manpower's down. Single cops are patrolling city crime in each town. As doobies are carried in public from stores, they can act as excuses for using much more. Disguising the reefer as government brand, the counterfeit business will grow in demand. Old dealers will work on the look of their stash so supplies can be filled up from neighborhood cash. As a burdened police force will try to discern with laws for the needful whose health has been burned. A wise use of taxes could help in this case. 10,000's a token for what stares us in the face. The gift to each region to whitewash the cost of drugs now permitted communities' loss. It stands as an insult to value of life, intoxicants increased to grow the tax might. Let's use a percentage like used from the gas to grow the police force and save someone's behind. Volpe Verte.
The Standard Podcast was produced by Greenstream Studio for the Standard newspaper.